Thanks for joining In the Know with Teresa Lynn, a place where professionals from a variety of industries give you a quick scoop to keep you in the know.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Teresa Lynn, and today we have with us William Copp of Expedite All. Will has been in the logistics industry for 4 years, and Will, we want to welcome you as well as all of our listeners to In the Know.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Well, we are glad to have you. As you know, our offices are in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Amazon tore down a mall, the Knoxville Center, which was a stomping ground for many Knoxvillians to be able to hub. And when the news was announced of this happening, we started hearing words like STL, FTL, and expedite. I invited you here to help me understand better and to help our listeners understand better what those terms actually mean.
Yeah, and I appreciate it. I'm excited to go over that with you guys and share some insight.
Well, we are excited to find out. So, first of all, I guess the thing that all of us want to know is what is expedite?
Right. It's a question that I keep hearing, right? So it's gotten relative in the last couple of years since COVID. And expedite is simply putting your truckloads or your loads on smaller trucks, right sizing your trucks, right? And so simple as that, just putting the right loads with a smaller version if we can.
Okay, so the big rigs, what do you call those?
So we call those FTL, like full truckloads.
Okay, so the smaller trucks, then they get called expedite or something else because they're small truckloads, right?
Right. So we say STL for the small
STL.
truckloads.
So
Yep.
that makes sense. The big trucks are FTL, full truckloads, like the big rigs we're all used to passing on the interstate. And the little ones are STL or
Yep.
small truckloads. And that is essentially expedite, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So besides Amazon, what kinds of companies do use expedite or could benefit from expedited services?
So actually, a lot of companies and a lot of companies are transitioning to more of a need for STL as a or more of a, like a fulfillment center, taking orders on demand. And so instead of taking up a lot of warehouse space or just space in general, when their customers order, then we pick up and deliver for them.
So companies that could benefit from it is anybody that needs to ship smaller quantities.
Yeah, smaller quantities, and we can still ship a lot, right? So we can still ship up to 7 to 9 pallets of material and roughly about 10,000 pounds of freight. And you'll find a lot of companies have been using, these big semi trucks and don't really need it, right? And so we've actually right-sized their truck for them. Also a new term that we've been using to explain, understanding the size of the load and fitting it to where it actually fits, putting that piece where it should belong.
So, and I guess faster service and right sizing the load and saving warehouse space, those are the benefits of doing expedite.
Yeah, and we have another term, Teresa, is LTL, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have so many terms in logistics.
That's a lot of acronyms.
It is. So LTL is less than truckload, and it's where you use one of those FTL trucks, those big semi trucks, right? And 20, 30 different companies have their freight on one truck. Problem is, Teresa, is those shipments, they get delivered whenever they get delivered. It's one of those things, they're not a dedicated option. So this helps companies that need stuff moved and delivered the next day or even same day. It's able to fulfill that for them.
Or for those of you who have an addiction to shopping online, you want those products quickly, and that's where the expedite drivers help you with that. So the current administration, as you know, they are really pushing this green initiative with a vengeance. And whether you are for it or against it, it doesn't really matter because we still face the same regulations and the same laws. So with that being said, is this environmentally safe? Is it green?
Yeah, so it's a better alternative. If you have a load that can go on a STL option, instead of putting on FTL, you're not spending as much fuel, you're not putting that much emissions into the air. So it's a better alternative. And like you said, whether you agree with the green push or not, it's just economically better for everyone. And it obviously provides that environmental, even if you don't intentionally do it, it provides that environmental safety as well.
And let me just say what he didn't say there is gas prices are ridiculous. And so that what you mean by economically better is it cuts down on gas fuel cost exponentially,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that is wonderful. Do you think that the expedite or the small truckload, the STL, do you think that will replace the big rigs?
No, it will not. But at the same time, I think a lot of companies will realize the benefit of STL,
Mhm.
and see that their loads will fit better. The rates are a lot more competitive. Consumers in America want stuff like yesterday, right?
We do.
And so
The microwave is too slow.
we provide that service as well, right?
Well, that's great. So I want to gossip just for a minute, okay?
Sure.
So there's a rumor going around
Okay.
that STL or short truckloads, that was coined by one of your colleagues, Alex Winston. Can you confirm or deny that rumor for me?
I can confirm. I'm a witness to the first time he name dropped that one, and so definitely threw me off guard. I was like, wow, how the heck has someone not thought of this yet? So yeah, Alex Winston with Expedite All, he's definitely the guy that's started that.
Okay, folks, you heard it here first. STL was coined by Alex Winston of Expedite All.
Yeah, so simple, but no one's thought of it till Alex did.
Okay, then now we know. So what kinds of things are hauled via STL or via Expedite?
So really anything, really, honestly. So, even cold products, we have Expedite All has a DBA reefer van network, and so we focus a lot on the refrigerated freight, milk, butter, meats, produce. But honestly, anything you can imagine, we can ship it. Good to go.
Okay, then. So is STL or Expedite, is it more expensive than the big rigs? And if if it's not, how much of an impact is it making on the logistics market?
So it is a little bit of misconception that Expedite is more expensive because it's a dedicated option and it gets you your stuff really quick, right? But it's actually very competitive to the FTL side, okay? And also the expenditure that you would have with storage and things like that. So no, STL is very competitive and a cheaper alternative for sure. As far as the impact when it comes to the logistics industry, the impact it's having is tremendous, right? So you see a lot of companies actually shifting their whole operations to more of a fulfillment on the go type of situation. And they're not, they're cutting cost at warehouse space. They're cutting costs on fuel that used for the trucks. Time is of essence. Customers are spending more when they can get their product faster. And so we help with all of that. And it is disrupting the industry a little bit and showing that there's another way to get those products moved in a quicker way.
And I think that all of us would agree that the supply chain and drivers are important to the American economy. And they showed us how very much so they were important during COVID. So I think that there is a national shortage of truck drivers. And maybe these expedite guys can help pick up some of those deficiencies. Would you say that that is true?
Yeah, and the really cool thing too with a lot of our trucks is they're not necessarily DOT regulated just like the big rigs are. And so drivers are have more accessibility into the market. And so we have a little bit more share of truck drivers who are willing to work with us versus, all the DOT regulations when it comes to getting those big rigs. So, yeah.
Okay, so let me make sure that I understand everything correctly and that I have it right.
Okay.
So logistics is the process more or less of getting your stuff from one place to another.
Yeah. And I think people don't really think about this, but how does things get in your stores? And things are, you think about a pen and they're made of like four different components and they're shipped four different ways. And then the final component shipped to the store into your hands. So yeah.
Okay, so then expedite or STL,
Mhm.
this is smaller trucks or vans or whatever kind of vehicle delivering those items quickly to a dedicated place or person.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then the big rigs or the FTL, that is what we're used to seeing on the streets where they're carrying large loads from one place to the other.
Mhm.
Okay, good. So I think that we all have a little better understanding about what the logistics world, at least an overview of what they do. And it's a lot to kind of comprehend. It's a lot for me too. And I know there's plenty of you out there who wonder, but I think many of us in business need to know more about this, and we need to be utilizing the options that are available to us. So Will, before we let you go for the day, is there anything more that you want our listeners to know?
Just that STL is a new way for us to really approach the industry in a more economical, a more environmentally safe way. And it can definitely assist companies that have a lot of issues with storage space and storage fees. It can really help consumers get those products quicker and especially pick up where the FTLs may fall short.
Okay, excellent. Well, guys, that is pretty much it for today. I really appreciate you joining us. Will, thank you for being a part of In the Know. And as it relates to Expedite or STL, you are officially in the know. Goodbye until next week.